Somebody said that Horizon would sell a bunch of Dracos if only they were smaller and a little bit more affordable. Someone at Horizon must have been listening because that's exactly what came out. Greetings, I'm John. This is Two Brothers RC, and this is the E-flite Micro Draco. Draco flies like most other smaller aircraft that Horizon sells, which is to say, it flies pretty well. Because it's a smaller airplane, it can run on 300 mAh 3S and 4S batteries, which are these massive chonkers you're seeing on screen right now. And unlike ultra micro extreme airplanes, Draco isn't completely ready to fly out of the box. You attach a cable from the receiver to the wing, install the wing, then screw the wing on. That's super easy. And it also lets you break Draco down if space is a priority in either your house or your vehicle. Ta-da. If you're used to flying microplanes already, you basically have all the info you need to fly Micro Draco. But I'll let Kieran take over, since he's our resident aeronautical engineer, and let him explain better than I can.
So far it's super stable.
Well, I would say that's a lot to do with the flight controller that's in it too.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty calm this evening, but I don't know, in my experience, a lot of the micros, they fly well, but they can be a bit squirrely, whereas this definitely feels more like a park flyer size plane, like in terms of handling, but you don't really lose out on that micro maneuverability.
There you go, that's a snap roll.
Nice.
Yeah,
it is nice. Like I said, you definitely get like a larger airplane feel in a small plane size.
Yeah, give me that knife edge. Hey, where are you going?
It's departing knife edge flight.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing.
You really got to cross the sticks right up to maintain any sort of knife edge.
Well, that's kind of how I keep wanting to say full scale, but that's kind of how the 2-meter Draco is too. For me to do any of the knife edge passes you've seen me do previously, I had to give it a significant amount of back elevator pressure to get it to stay, because it wants to point away from you.
You definitely get some of the adverse yaw you get on the 2-meter one as well, so it's not like it's going to bite you if you don't use rudder in the turns, but if you're actually trying to make it turn like tightly or turn well, you really want to mix in some rudder with your rudder thumb. Now, otherwise you just kind of get a bit of a weird knife edge like that until the nose falls around.
Now Kieran here's an aeronautical engineer, so he knows more about this than I do. I just know how to make sticks do stuff.
Little Draco here is also capable of hill climbing and bush flying, but its smaller size means that debris can be an issue. So make sure you do a FOD walk to clear the way before flying it, otherwise you might risk breaking the propeller. Because it's smaller, landing and taking off in tighter areas is also possible too, like flying into the hangar that I landed Big Draco in. Or taking off from the horizontal stabilizer of the Ryan Navion that's been rusting in this field for the past 10 years. There's really no bad tendencies that I saw or felt while flying it. It's just a lot of fun and a gorgeous little plane for the price point. You do get integrated voltage telemetry out of the box, so you don't have to guess how much power is left in the battery. More than one RC pilot has had to bring home a microplane limping along on a pulsing ESC because they ran the battery down to almost nothing. Draco handles the wind and strong shear forces that are present at this airport. With our new windsock blowing in the breeze, you can see Draco barely moving forward at all.
I said this wind!
This is a stiff breeze, about 15 to 25 miles an hour, and yet Draco handles it like it's nothing, even with some light to moderate turbulence coming off of the hangars and trees off screen.
Tiny planes are always faster than I think they're going to be.
This is a 4-cell plane.
I know.
So with 4 cells, this thing is ripping. This is full throttle right now. Look at it go.
It's a speedy little thing.
It's got very similar characteristics to the full-size model Draco. It does the same kind of snap rolls. Actually, that's pretty cool how nice those are. Let's go up and make it do sticks inward tumble. Nice quick pop top style maneuver. Sticks to the top left. I wonder if it could do a knife edge spin. Let's go up nice and high. There's this weird... It's not doing it. That's okay. Pretty good little model, though. I mean, if micros and minis are the kind of plane you really like to fly, this little bugger is quite a bit of fun. It does fly in the wind, too, as you can see. We've, unfortunately, were lied to by Weather Underground yet again. Called for a maximum of like 5-mile-an-hour winds, and the gusts have been like 20 to 30. But it's handling all this just fine, although you can see it just hopping up and down in the turbulence here. But as long as you keep a little bit of airspeed and you stay above the terrain by about as much as the plane jumps up and down, you should be fine. You're probably not going to smash.
If you're into flying in tight spots, like perhaps underneath an airplane's wing, you can also fly Draco there too. I'm trying to bring back a little bit of the old video format, so there's a return to the old style real-time talking with some voiceover mixed in. That way you guys get the best of both worlds, our unfiltered thoughts while we're flying, and what we think after we've had some time to fly for a bit. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Oh my god, that's one of the best flat spins I've gotten out of a UMX style plane. Even though it's not UMX, it's mini. Out of this class of plane, this size plane, that's one of the best flat spins I've gotten. Yeah, 4 cells, you have so much power, it's ridiculous. Honestly, don't think you really need it, but it's fun. And, you know, isn't that what the hobby's all about? Woo! Like, when you stall like that, you can just throttle out of it. Like, it's not even a problem. You just break physics. When you're going to stall, just don't stall.
Wise words.
I bet I can hover it. I got a torque roll out of it. Let's see if I can do that a little lower to the ground. Whee! That's where all that power comes in use. You know, if you're dumb enough like me to try to torque roll a Draco, I like how you can hear the air flowing over the flaps as it goes by. It's cute sounding.
Prop does kind of have the same sort of sound effect like the 2-meter one does.
Yeah, very much, because it's a 4-bladed prop, right?
And similar design as well.
That's a snap roll, by the way. Pretty agile for that. Let's try doing some other 3D style stuff with it. Roll, put it into a crankshaft style maneuver. Yeah. No CG or throw for that, but still looks cool. Let's try sticks to the top left this time. Okay, that was cool. I actually got it to tumble forward for a second. Man, those lights look so good. I'm glad we waited to use these last batteries on this flight, because right now we got the sun in the background hitting those trees, and we got the lights on the little Draco. I almost wanted to call it a Timbo, but the little Draco. Looking super cool in this night light. Yeah, Kieran's not wrong. It does take a lot of work to fly this in knife. Yeah, knife edge is a little bit of work. Not maybe a huge amount of work, but there is some work involved. Interestingly enough, you got to give it some roll for sure. Like I'm sticks are crossed right now, like both different directions. So let's try right rudder, and I got to do a lot of left aileron to get it to stay like this. But it works. Now I keep wanting to say full scale. The big Draco, the 2-meter one, requires more back elevator pressure than it does aileron input. But it's still eminently flyable like this. This is 3 cells too. Like, look at this thing go. It just comes in so slow with the flaps too. And you can fly it in so many different areas. Like, look at that complete turn that I did in such a short spot. And I didn't have to worry about it biting me either. Even if I increase the bank angle and really yank it around, look at that. And that's with flaps. A lot of planes will bite you when you start doing that because you get into an accelerated stall. You stall out that wing and then you're like, yep, I'm doo-doo. But this thing is not having any problems with it. Now, it is a mini/micro scale plane, so you're going to want to try to land it on places that are not pure grass. At least if it's grass, it's got to be kind of like super manicured or something because it will flip over. It's already happened a couple of times when we landed it over there by that hangar over there and some other places like that. You're just going to have to deal with the fact that the wheels are only so big. Like when we land right here. See how much work it takes for it to get out of that grass? So if your grass looks like this, you might be able to take off, but you also will take some of the grass with you. Oh, there we had a stall, but see how easily I got out of that? This plane is not hard to fly. And it looks super cool. This is like a more beginner-friendly, I wouldn't say beginner, but a more intermediate-friendly version of Draco, I'd say. Like, if you can fly a UMX turbo timber, you can probably fly this, no problem. Just got to remember to use your rudder. I'm using, like, most of this turning here is rudder and some back elevator pressure. It's not hard to fly at all. Like, you will have no problems with this plane. If you're already used to flying something that is a high wing bush plane, no problems at all. Bring it in for the quick approach, plop it in. It's a little harder to get these microplanes to land perfectly, especially when the pavement looks like this. These are like massive cracks to a plane this size. But can it hover on 3 cells? That's full throttle. It can hover. Actually kind of hovers a little bit better because the CG's further back, but I have to use the entire stick. Haven't done any inverted with it yet. I gotta use a bit of nose up pressure to get it to fly level, but it's not bad. About half the stick, I'd say. Nothing that I haven't, had to deal with before with UMX planes. It's a cute little bugger, for a mini scale plane. It does have the linear servos. It does have some of that characteristic sound that you'd expect, a lot of the whining sounds, but it's still a cool plane. It's a lot of fun to fly. And if you want a Draco and you don't want to spend a ton of money on it, $200 gets you a really cool looking micro mini version of it. I mean, look at how cool that looks in this night. Like, that is just amazing. And it flies so well for being maybe a little bit heavier than the UMX Turbo Timber. Maybe a little bit. They're probably about the same weight.
The E-flite Micro Draco is absolutely stunning for the price point. While I'd personally prefer not having linear servos, you gotta make some trade-offs somewhere to keep the weight down. And while Draco's abundant scale details do add some weight, it doesn't fly like it at all. The integrated flight controller handles wind and any battery that we threw at it, and we managed to hover it too. It checks off pretty much every box for most pilots looking for something fun and gorgeous to fly. If you'd like to consider supporting Two Brothers RC and what we do here, pick it up via the link in the description, and hop in Discord and let us know what you think about this hybrid voiceover and real-time voice format. See you guys next week.
Flop.